What's your name?
I'm here representing Brian Musgrove.
You're Brian Musgrove?
I'm here representing.
I have no idea what that means. So why don't you come up to the podium?
I tried to.
Nope, yeah, stand in front of the thing. So what is your name?
Brian Joseph Musgrove.
Okay, are you an attorney? What's your P number?
I'm not an attorney.
So then you can't represent Brian Musgrove. So you are a defendant, correct?
I'm an executor on that estate.
Okay, so none of that is valid or legal. So you have an attorney?
He's not doing nothing for me.
Okay, that wasn't my question. Do you have an attorney? Yes or no?
I have, yeah, he was supposed to be representing me, but.
So you have Michael Dagger Margosian. Okay, so he's your attorney. Okay, so go have a seat. When Mr. Dagger Margosian gets here, I'll call your case, okay? All right, so Mr. Musgrove, you want to come up to the podium, please? This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Brian Joseph Musgrove, file number 23-21461FH. I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people, and I have Michael Dagger Margosian appearing on behalf of Mr. Musgrove. Mr. Dagger Margosian might, oh, there he is. So Mr. Dagger Margosian, this is a date and time set for pre-trial in this matter. Mr. Musgrove said that he was appearing on his own behalf. I did verify he is not an attorney, and you are still the attorney of record. So Mr. Dagger Margosian, how do you wish to proceed?
Well, Your Honor, I am aware that Mr. Musgrove wants to present information to the court. I'm happy to be standby counsel if he wants to represent himself. Obviously, this court would have to go through the colloquy of that, but obviously it's Mr. Musgrove's legal right to at least ask the court to do that. So I'm here to observe at this point.
All right. So Mr. Musgrove, when you were at the bench or up at the podium before, you said that you were appearing on behalf of yourself. So Mr. Musgrove, are you asking to no longer have counsel represent you?
Well, what I'm understanding is that the courts is a private for-profit.
So Mr. Musgrove, I know where you're going with this, and none of that is valid. None of that is law.
I'm not the all caps name. Of course.
None of that is valid. None of that is law. You are standing in my courtroom. I have jurisdiction over you. So
I tried to file paperwork with the clerk's office ahead of time so that you would have time to review it, and they denied me.
I know what you're talking about. None of that is valid under the law of the state of Michigan or the Constitution of the United States of America.
What do you mean it is?
No.
The Supreme Court says it is.
What does it say it is?
The Supreme Court says that if we were at the age of 18, we were supposed to claim our minor status.
Nope, not valid.
Okay.
So here's what I would say to you. Mr. Dagger Margosian is, like most of our public defenders, exceptional attorneys and very well versed in the law and very experienced. He gives legal advice. You may not like the legal advice, but it's usually good advice. I've never had anyone from the public defender's office not wholeheartedly try to represent their clients. So what you are talking about is not valid, and it is not going to get you out of this case. You're not going to be able to say all those things because it's not valid.
Everyone involved in this court case has a financial interest in the case. I
don't have a financial interest in your case. I get paid by the state of Michigan, whether you plead, whether it gets dismissed. I don't make any money off you. We have budgets. The court system is not a profit generating revenue. We are here to represent people so that people who are charged with crimes are protected. People who are victims of crimes are protected. And that's why we have all these.
In order for there to be a crime, there has to be a victim. There is no.
Well, there is a victim in this case.
The victim would be the company.
You are charged.
I can't face.
Actually, just hold on. So your crime that you are charged with, which you are innocent as of this time, let me grab the right file, is failure, this is let me see. This is an embezzlement charge. So you are charged in count one with embezzlement 50,000 or more, but less than 100,000. That being an agent, servant, or employee of Hardwoods of Michigan Industries did convert to your own use without the consent of your employer or principal, industrial tools and equipment in the amount of $68,938.40 or money or equipment. And that's a 15-year felony. So if you are found guilty by a jury, you can go to prison for up to 15 years. You're charged in count two with using a computer to commit a crime. To facilitate the charge in count one, that carries a maximum penalty of up to 10 years in prison. And the way the statute's set up, I can actually stack those possibly. So you potentially could be looking at up to 25 years in prison. So the victim that's alleged in this would be that business.
Right, and I can't face that accuser because that business can't get on the stand for me to ask questions, and a third party.
But their
can't stand
representative
it.
can. Yes, they can. Yes,
They
they
can?
can. Yes, they
Okay.
can. So I have 189,000 of student loan debt that was forgiven to be a lawyer. You do not. And Mr. Dagger Margosian, Mr. Isaac Sneed, all of the attorneys here went to law school to know the law, and their job is to advise you of the law. So
Yeah,
yes,
but
they
they're
can. Yes,
They're
you
going
can be
by
charged.
everything, all the
can't-
laws and statutes that you guys go by
Are
for
legal.
corporations. They're for fictitious.
Still a crime. Still a crime.
But I'm not
Still a
a fictitious
crime.
corporation, I'm a living person.
Yep, and that's why you're
Okay.
standing in front of me. If you were dead, the case would be dismissed.
Yeah, the all cap name is that.
That means nothing. That's not valid. It's
Okay.
not legal.
right.
So do you want to represent yourself or do you want to have an attorney to represent you?
I need some time to think.
Okay, I'm gonna set this for another pretrial on March 20th at 8:30 in the morning. And Miss Adams, could I get a notice of hearing for Mr. Musgrove?
Yes, Judge.
The transcript documents a pretrial courtroom proceeding in the criminal case of the state of Michigan versus Brian Joseph Musgrove, centered on serious felony charges of embezzlement and use of a computer to commit a crime with the defendant, facing potential penalties of up to 20 years imprisonment if convicted. At the outset, procedural confusion arises when the defendant attempts to appear and speak on behalf of himself in a manner resembling unauthorized legal representation, prompting the court to clarify that he is not a licensed attorney and therefore cannot represent any legal entity or estate in a formal capacity, reinforcing that only qualified attorneys may provide representation in court proceedings. The court confirms that Mr. Musgrove is indeed the defendant and that he already has appointed legal counsel, specifically a public defender, who remains the attorney of record. The defense attorney indicates willingness to act as standby counsel. Should the defendant choose to exercise his right to self-representation, but emphasizes that such a decision would require the court to conduct a formal inquiry to ensure that the waiver of counsel is knowing, voluntary, and intelligent. However, the proceeding quickly shifts focus to the defendant's unconventional and legally unsupported arguments, which reflect a misunderstanding of legal principles often associated with sovereign citizen ideology. Mr. Musgrove asserts that the court is a private court, challenges jurisdiction, and attempts to distinguish himself from his legal identity by claiming he is not the all-caps version of his name, implying a separation between his physical person and a legal or corporate entity. The judge firmly and repeatedly rejects these arguments, stating unequivocally that such claims have no validity under Michigan law or the United States Constitution, and that the court does indeed have proper jurisdiction over him as a living individual physically present before the bench. The judge further addresses the defendant's claim that all parties involved in the case have a financial interest in the outcome, clarifying that the court operates as part of the public justice system funded by the state and that judges, prosecutors, and public defenders do not receive financial benefit based on case outcomes, thereby dismissing the allegation as unfounded. The court then outlines the substantive charges against the defendant in detail, explaining that he is accused of embezzling approximately $68,938.40 from his employer, hardwoods of Michigan Industries by allegedly converting company funds or equipment for personal use without authorization, a charge that constitutes a felony punishable by up to 15 years in prison. Additionally, he faces a second charge of using a computer to facilitate the commission of the alleged embezzlement, which carries an additional potential penalty of up to 10 years. And the judge notes that under statutory provisions, these sentences could potentially be imposed consecutively. The defendant challenges the notion of a victim in the case, arguing that a corporation cannot serve as an accuser because it cannot physically testify in court. However, the judge explains that a corporate entity may be represented by individuals who can testify on its behalf, thereby establishing the legal basis for the charges. Throughout the exchange, the judge emphasizes the importance of relying on qualified legal counsel, highlighting the extensive education and expertise required to interpret and apply the law, and cautioning the defendant that rejecting professional legal advice in favor of unsupported theories will not result in dismissal of the charges. Ultimately, the defendant expresses uncertainty about whether to proceed with self-representation, prompting the court to adjourn the matter and schedule a future pretrial hearing, allowing him additional time to consider his options. The proceeding underscores the court's effort to maintain procedural integrity while addressing the defendant's misconceptions, ensuring that his rights are preserved while firmly rejecting arguments that lack legal foundation and reaffirming that the case will proceed within the established framework of criminal law.